I'm already sharing my screen. Mm, So, I'll discuss about the working of the locking
Is it
feature in COD-CTP.
uh,
Um,
shared? I, I,
what?
I couldn't able to see the screen.
Are you not able to see the screen? One second. I'll stop the sharing. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, so in this session, I'll talk about the locking feature of CTP. Basically, what is locking? Locking. Um, s- we know that CTP is used to analyze a network. Given a network, it is going to analyze it. If you give an empty network, it is going to analyze it, and it will populate. And the analysis output, it is going to populate all the equipments required for the network to become alive, and it will give you the BOM details of how much it is going to cost. So for each of the equipment as a network as a whole, how much it is going to cost. So in basically it is a UI. We have a UI for this tool, where we can create a small network, do analysis, and we can see um, um, what how the entire network gets formed. Like we will be forcing certain constraints. For example, uh, we want to restrict some equipments being used, or we can say what kind of amplifiers, what kind of cards we want in the each side of a site, and what channel should pass in, what is the traffic type of the demand. These are four things.
Hmm.
Okay. And when we say locking, I can show what is locking in UI first of all. Um, for brownfield analysis, for greenfield analysis, like we give an empty network, we'll analyze, and we will get a complete network. Oh, in case of brownfield analysis, we will already have a complete network. Um, we would like to add a site or do some modification over existing site and perform analysis and see what changes, how much. Uh, we would like to lock some of the sites in the brownfield, and if you want to edit some, do some changes. One second, let me open now. So see, this is actually a complete network. uh, it is actually locked. We can either unlock entire network or unlock site. Unload log it is. You see, everything is locked. So if we want to do this is a complete network already. We will see like everything is already populated. Like we'll have the equipments and everything, and we'll see reports bomb. uh, is already present. So this is a old network bomb. Now, if you want to add some site, or if you want to do some try some changing some configuration in particular site, we would have to unlock it. Like we will first have, this is in design mode. We have to first change to analysis mode, and then we can either unlock the entire network based upon the purpose. We can unlock any object. Where it is, I don't see unlock here. Why don't I see unlock?
I think this is a design for. Previous one was a.
Okay, but I didn't see. Hmm, one second. Okay, yeah, this is I don't see unlock option here also. Hmm, why possibly? I will try opening some other network. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that. Maybe some change. So we should be in analysis mode for doing unlocking and locking. That's what I remember. So basically, you see, you can these are all sites are locked. If we can unlock, do some changes, and if we analyze what happens is whatever change, some forcing changes like um, anything. It can be any change, a change in an amplifier, a DCU. If you do those changes, only the whatever sites that are already locked, they are not going to get affected, meaning the bomb wouldn't be changed. Um, for this particular site it is going to get changed, and um, respective what the changes that are dependent on this particular change. For example, some like definitely, if we change some DCU or there will be a um, implication. Like if you change something, for example, an amplifier, or if you remove, for example, there is a demand. If you are going to remove particular equipment, particular card from this site, which is affecting that demand, definitely that demand would also get changed. Meaning, say you are deleting this particular site, there is a demand that is starting from the site and it is ending in unlock the site. Say if you unlock the site and if you delete it, respective to the respective demands are still locked. Um, in that case, what happens is those things will automatically get unlocked. Like in UI, they have handled such a way that if you unlock certain object in UI here, respective objects that are affected by this unlocking will also get unlocked. There are some handlers, so will get unlocked and the analysis will happen. In we sometimes in the console we will see error messages or warnings say please unlock respective site or side, those kind of messages we would see. um, this is what is locking. So we would like to perform the same in JSON also. Given a JSON as input for the analysis, by some means we will mention which if a particular object is locked or unlocked. If we're going to analyze, it is whatever objects that are locked, they'll be kept as such. Analysis wouldn't affect that. Whatever pieces that is unlocked, they are going to get analyzed. I mean, they are going to get changed based upon the working of the analysis algorithms. So in JSON, we have I have created a document in detail for to understand how we are actually doing that. Andrea have already implemented this to a decent level, but that was supporting few cases. It was supporting few cases.
It's
We had to
10:30.
add few more cases, or like support for the cards, support for the demand types, and some more complications we had faced. I will discuss that. So current working of the locking is, what are the objects that we would be able to lock or unlock in via JSON. This is what I have explained in this document. The first thing that is, that is work that is working and that is working is, I mean, Andrea had mentioned some pieces are working, but I had to test it. I realized some are not working and some are working. So I have mentioned, um, what happens if we do a locking or unlocking. So in JSON, basically it is done via field unlock. If you would have, you can notice, this is one of the JSON. Takes up a array. So this is a network, and if you see unlock, it is an array. It is expected to take up just a string. This is how it is implemented currently. If you mention this inside this unlocked field, it means the entire network is unlocked. So so what do you mean? This currently it is the entire. This means this network is locked actually. Um, Basically, if we talk, like, generally, whenever we do analysis, the what output analyzed JSON is actually all the objects that we get in the output analysis JSON are all locked by default. If you see, there is no this keyword at all. This is this is one of the analyzed JSON. um, the reason why I say this as analyzed JSON is all the equipments are populated and all the channels has path populated. Um, so if we want to unlock entire network, what we would do is, we just put a string this here, but this is not going to work. There are um, it is supported only in few object levels. The first one is site. So if we want to unlock this particular site, what we have to do is, we have to mention this here, just a string. It is going to be yeah, if we do this, this site will be unlocked and all other sites are locked. So if you want to test this, a simple way to test this is just get into the equipment, get inside one of the cart, not cart, one of the shelf. Alter the slot number of two cards. For example, say this site is unlocked, and all other sites are locked. So what we would do is, mm, um, see, there is yeah, one second. Two SMR cards are there. So this SMR inside A is in slot 2 and 7. If you change the slot number to 7, like if you just swap the slot numbers, if you make this SMR A to 7 and SMR B as 2 in JSON, means how you can do is, there is a slot number, right? So if you change that and if you press analyze, what would happen is, after analysis, it will swap back to the default, default positions. Like, the algorithm, every time algorithm analysis algorithm is always going to place, based upon the configuration, it is always going to place SMR A in slot 2 and SMR B in slot 7. If it is locked, even if the configuration is something different than whatever analysis is going to generate, it will retain. So that is how we test locking in JSON. So what I generally do is, this is an unlocked site. Swap two slots here, and this is a logged site. Swap two slots here also. After analysis, you would see the logged site will still retain the swapped slots, whereas unlocked site, the slot numbers would change based upon the default configuration. So that's how we say, this site is actually considered as locked and analysis didn't affect it. And the unlocked site is actually recalculated, like the cards are actually regenerated and placed based upon the analysis algorithm. So this is site locking. So, and actually there are some implications, like if a site is, um, currently how the way it is implemented is, even if you don't mention this word, if the site equipment is left empty, it is definitely it is going to generate all the equipments, because um, if we talk, like, um, basically usually uh, we will have the site with empty equipments, and in the brownfield analysis, sorry, greenfield analysis. So if you have empty equipments in a site, it is obviously considered as unlocked, and it will generate, analysis algorithms will generate the cards. If the equipments are populated, then you definitely have to mention this to mention it to be unlocked. But one condition is, it will still look up the um, cards that are placed inside the site. Like, it doesn't mean, if you have placed, if you had mentioned unlock, but you still have equipments inside the site, it doesn't mean it is going to ignore all the mm, mm, cards that you have populated, all the uh, cards that are already populated. It will actually consider it again. But for whatever that is not matching, it is going to replace it. Hmm. As I mentioned, if the slots are changed, that is not matching the default configuration of the analysis, it is going to replace it. So that's how it works. Hmm. So this is site level matching, locking. And the second locking that is working is DWDM channel locking. Um, Basically, you can lock path. We can actually lock three things in the channel. We can lock a path, or we can lock source port, destination port. Meaning, we can force a channel to use particular fibers only. Um, but this works along with the path constraint. Silva, you know anything about the path constraint? You remember we implemented path constraint?
I have. In fact, we used in even CNP the path constraint.
Super.
Inclusive,
Okay.
right?
So, what?
It's a inclusive path constraint. Like there are two
Ex-
kind of path constraints. One is to exclude and one is to include.
exactly, yes.
One thing,
Yes.
one more thing,
Site inclusion. What?
one more thing I have is like you mentioned this, unlock this or path or I mean the combination of this path,
Yeah.
put and destination put. What happens if it is this alone?
If it is this alone, it is going to consider it as unlock for everything: path, source port, destination port, everything.
No.
This is like all,
No.
unlock all. All means path, source port, destination, everything. So, this unlock of path is going to work only with a combination of the path constraints. Like, say if you have a path constraint over a service, and if you unlock a path, it is going to surpass that path constraint, and it is going to generate whatever analysis is going to generate. So if you have a path constraint, and so you understand what I'm trying to say. If you have a path constraint and you mention it to be, if you mention a channel to be locked, um, sorry, if you mention a channel to be unlocked, then the path constraint wouldn't be considered at all. It is going to recreate the path. So that is what Um, so in JSON, I can show you a JSON example for that. What is locking test? So path, yeah. So we'll have a in JSON we have path constraint inside DWDM demand because in UI over the service you will have path constraint. So as you mentioned, we'll have set exclusions and fiber exclusion. So you see a path a channel here. So if you are going to unlock this particular channel object, then this path constraint wouldn't be considered at all. So this is what path unlocking is. And when we say source port or destination port unlocking, what we mean is generally if you mention this to be locked, means if currently this is locked. So what happens is this will force this channel to use this particular source port and destination port, and it will show you um, it will not try to populate it with a different source port or destination port. If it is locked, even if it is unlocked, there are chances that source port destination port would change based upon the analysis. That's what they mean by source port destination port locking and unlocking.
Uh, do they create a new endpoints under that?
Yeah. Yes. Possibly it will, like if, the way we can test is just have this channel, have this source port destination port, make them empty or null. If you just unlock this, you will have source port and destination port created for this.
What happens if I don't unlock that site and unlock this source port?
um no, you didn't unlock the site, but you are unlocking only the source port, you are saying.
Source port or destination port. That times then I have to create a new endpoints there. I mean, the CTP can create new endpoints there in that site, but it is not affordable to change the cards, right?
That's what I'm. Some see based upon the means whatever is dependent on the unlocking, it will automatically unlock in the analysis. The dependent objects will get unlocked in the analysis,
Uh,
or either it will throw error. I haven't tested that case. It's a good test to be done. You meant
just unlocking. Either
actually
unlocking the site, but I'm not unlocking
it's
the channels. So in that case, would it retain the existing endpoints? Uh, the other case is like I'm unlocking the channel alone, but not the site. So will it create a
it
different points and replace the existing one or not? I just want to know, understand that flow, like combination.
um why would it need to unlock a site at all? If you unlock just a source port and destination port, it wouldn't need to create new endpoint. It will just have to um pick existing one. It is not creating a new card or anything. Means I understand meaning
I
see
mean,
what is
it or
endpoint.
the existing one. It may or may not.
See the trunk. See, endpoint is basically a trunk port and add and drop code combination. Triplet, right? So if it is already open, it will not unlock the site at all. When it is going to just mm, uh, there is nothing to change, right? In that case, it is not going to create anything newly.
It's going to just switch on from one. trunk port to another trunk port. I mean, if it is
Yes,
like
yes, yes.
you're adding a new site, or if you are if something went wrong and if you replace the existing one, then it can create. I mean, the combination, like we are unlocking the site and we are unlocking the channel and we are adding few more channels on top of it or demand on top of it, which can create a channel. That time it can replace. It's up to CTP, right? It can either replace or reuse the existing one.
Yes. I think it will. We would need to test this case. Um, Honestly, I haven't tested this case. But what I don't want to assume anything.
Okay.
Mm, I'm just trying to recollect if I had done anything related to that. Adding a new channel is one case that I we should test to see how it actually reacts. Maybe we should first try it in a UI and then we should see um, if it is working in the UI or what actually happens in the UI. Then we have to see how we can do the same in the JSON.
Okay.
We'll do it. We'll see. Mm, okay. This is channel locking. And uh, card locking, I tried it. Doesn't seem to work. What basically happens is existing card, if I unlock a existing card, it is being replaced with a blank. Some weird thing is happening. It is being placed in different shelf, or it is misplaced in different slot. Some So this is not working. Shelf unlocking, maybe some other dependent object need to be locked. So I asked Andrea. He haven't given input, proper input for this. So I'm still not aware of how possibly we can perform code locking. Mm, so shelf locking, the same case. It throws some internal issues, like some exceptions you will see. Analysis fails. Some internal exceptions will occur. A rack unlocking doesn't have any effect at all. Edge
If,
unlocking.
if you're
Yeah.
unlocking rack, then we are unlocking all the equipments under that, right? Like rack,
If
rack,
Yeah,
rack is on
I
top.
tried it. I unlocked a rack and switched that, like similar to the site unlocking testing. I unlocked a rack and swapped the slots of a card. Didn't work actually. It just what switched back to normal config.
No, because whatever I mean, the rack is on top of it. Under that, we'll have shelf, and then we have card. So we are, if we are unlocking rack, then all the shelf and all the cards are being unlocked now.
Yeah, agreed. But I don't see this to be working like that. You unlock or lock it. It is just um what uh wait, what I tried to test is have a rack locked, and I swapped the card, what card slots. I assumed that the card is also locked, so I analyzed what happened is it switched back to the original config. um no, 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 no. How possibly can I test a rack? What happened? I'm just confused. One second. If a rack is populated and unlocked, lock and unlock. Okay, okay, got it. I just unlocked a rack. means under the rack object I just mentioned this, and I left the card to be locked. So as you mentioned, I assumed that all the objects under the rack is unlocked when I unlock rack. So but that is not the case. The card is still considered to be locked. No change happened inside the like the cards didn't swap. You got
Okay,
it?
got it. So the same case, if I unlock the entire site, uh, it means that it is not going to reflect in the till the card level.
Yeah, for the site it worked actually. If I unlock a site, that means all the objects under the site is unlocked. So that is how it worked actually.
So
It had unlocked the cards.
it is not working.
What?
Only for the rack case, it is not working.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. For the rack, it is not working. Maybe we are not in the code level. We are not locking or unlocking the respective object. Somewhere it is missing.
Okay, got it.
So, but I remember seeing that rack object being set lock method being called on the rack object, but for some reason it is not yet working. And the last piece of locking is edge locking. Um, we can it looks similar to forcing actually. Uh, we can force particular DCU to be mm, like uh, if we force particular DCU, a pre or BST in particular edge, and if we have two edge, if we force DCU in edge A and edge B and the same DCU, if edge A is logged, what happens is after analysis, it is going to be retained. But if whatever edge is unlocked, there is a higher possibility that the DCUs would change based upon the analysis. This is what edge unlocking means. Um, like the BST that you force would be there, um, but there is a possibility that it would change. So post analysis edge A BST DCUs maintain in other configurations. Um, Everything would change based upon whatever is forced in the locked site, locked edge. Okay. Um,
And do you have any corresponding options to be changed in the fiber? Because if you want to change the DCU automatically, like pre-configured DCUs or amplifiers, then we'll go and change it in the fibers, right? Depends on the fiber properties.
uh, no, like in the JSON you are saying?
Yes. I mean, as a network, if I need to place any,
In the JSON,
if I
where
need to place
exactly
any booster or
you will have fiber?
default DCUs, then we'll go to the fiber and we'll open something, right? Like a last value or something like the things that can impact edge side params.
Um, yeah, I think here you're saying, um, based upon the DCU configuration, this laws would change. You're saying,
Hmm. Something like loss and even the Raman amplifier. If I put Raman amplifier true, then I can place some Raman amplifier there.
cool. I didn't knew this.
Okay.
Honestly,
I just want to know
okay.
like channel we
Hmm.
mentioned, right? If I put a make that those source or destination part as unlocked, then I can replace the channel part, the input part. I can either replace or create new one. It depends on the things. The same way, the DCU part is impacted based on the fiber properties. Yeah, the length of the fiber, whether it can be Raman amplified or because of the loss, it depends on that. That's why I asked. I know issues.
Okay.
I can try in the future.
Hmm.
Maybe that was not our case for this one, right? The current case.
Hmm. Can you can you give some test case for this? Like you, I will share the link for this document. Can you just mention some test cases for this?
Out.
I'll test this actually.
I'll try it out. Maybe if I check with the CNP team who worked on this, the last spec for CNP, they were doing this one like the booster and DC part. So actually, that time only I know
Oh,
the change in the fiber properties impacts there for the DC and booster parts.
whom should I check exactly?
Maybe Sarath or Sudarshan. Even I'll check with them and let you know if you need.
Okay, I'm very interested to check those things via JSON because
For them.
might be the requirement.
With the specification, they
Hmm?
give the test cases for that, the fiber and DC parts. They are
Okay,
they
I
are
will
separate.
see.
We can
Hmm.
even check that one.
Okay, okay, okay. So okay, this is what is locking, and basically the JSON that you give as input um, should be should um, I mean the contents of the JSON should be correct or should be meaningful to expect it to work properly. For example, if you have um, a site logged, but you have some DWDM channels, as you mentioned. If you have some extra DWDM channels that expects some new card to be created in the site which is locked, you will see some unexpected result in the analysis output. um, but if that is the test case, it is acceptable. Means what I'm trying to say is the output of the analysis for testing the locking is highly depends upon what we give as highly depends upon the collection of the equipments present inside the um, site and the DWDM demands. Um, there are set of means it only accepts the equipments that are equipments, or I can say the combination of the equipments patterns that are present in the 15 mpzs that are provided. And there is something called ncms.json. You will see list of cards and traffic type, the configuration that are currently acceptable here. It is present inside the configuration. Even in the build, you will have a folder. I think it is in the name of configuration only. You will see ncms.json. In case if you want to support some new traffic type, if you see an error that traffic description not present, we can add here on the fly, and on the next run it is going to be accepted. For example, if we want if we want to have a OC48, see OC48 has a transponder MRC card. I had added most of them. I had added on the fly based upon testing. There were cases where a peering, sonat peering with the traffic type OC48, and one of the service had source client um, source card type as a transponder, and with this particular card item
It's
MRC
11
and
o'clock.
FIC. In the UI you can see actually this one-to-one correspondence with your see, for example, if this is a service, and you will see here the traffic type is 10G, and the client type is transponder. This is what here it means, that hierarchy type is, that is what it means, transponder or line card. And card type is what is card item mentioned here. Uh, okay, the card item is the first piece of this. What U2XP, and second one is FEC. The second piece is FEC. For example, OTU2, if you see OTU2XP, yeah, this type is what is card type. The first piece is card item, OTU2XP, and the FEC type is TXP mode. Traffic type is, as I mentioned, the traffic type. Hierarchy type is this thing, the client type. Ensure even if extra space or some, for example, if you have extra space here, it is not going to work. Trunk mode is not important. I just uh, yeah, for this particular case it was one second. So trunk mode is not important. The card item FEC type is important actually. The first piece is card item, and the second piece is FEC type. Trunk mode is something like TH something. I am not sure. I think we have to check here. It starts with some T something. Maybe we can unlock and see what it is exactly. I haven't encountered any trunk mode usage, so I'm not so sure. We can check on other configs. Um, so what happened with that? One second. Okay. For some reason, I'm unable to open it. Oh, make. Oh, I dragged it down. Okay. Okay. So let's jump into the code. So it all starts with so basically, how if I can give a high level overview of how it is done. Um, it all starts with the sites. First, we'll see if the site equipments are empty. If it is not empty, they are not considering if it is unlocked or locked first. First, they are checking if the site is empty or not. Equipment. If the equipment is not empty, what they do is they see each of the card, and um, they try to build internal CTP site. So every site has a side. So if you see, every site has a site and client. Wow, this is what they are trying to build. So for every site, they try to create try to create a side which list of with a list of cards to be placed in that site, and clients, the list of client cards. And actually in CTP, the client cards depends upon the demands that is present in the network. Say if you if you have this site unlocked, and if you delete particular demand, what happens is it is going to delete the unused client also. This is the behavior that I have noticed. For testing purpose, what I did was I added some extra client card just for the testing purpose. Or no, what I did is I had a network for the testing purpose. I deleted a demand. I reanalyzed it. What I noticed is I noticed that the the client that was used by the client card that was used by the particular demand was also deleted. So it is not you it is not retaining the unused client cards. So the client cards, it depends upon the demands that you have, the services that you have. So uh, they have a couple of patterns for each site, like what is a particular site can have, or what set of cards a site can have. These are the site patterns. When they say client patterns, um, um, it can be a protected client. In CTP generally, there can be a protected client, or there can be unprotected client, or yeah, only two types of client. If it is a protected client, it will have a working client and a protected client. If it is unprotected client, it is going to have only one client. A client, when I say client, it is just a combination of client TXRX, not again, client TXRX and respective trunk port involved. It is almost like an endpoint that we are talking about. So, based upon the client patterns, means based upon based upon the cards that we have in our JSON and code, what we try to do is we try to we have a couple of patterns, so set of patterns, side patterns. We identify which side pattern the exact the set of cards that we have is matching, and then clients, we manipulate the DWDM demands and channels we have, and we arrive at the uh, client patterns. For example, if we have a one Y cable protected channel, then we will have one Y cable protected client. Um, so if you see here, we'll have side patterns. A site can have either just AMP and BST, that's all, or it can be as complicated as this SMR, two SMRs, or one SMR, one amplifier, one pre and EF, like this. Like SMR, one EF, side A, if you see side A, on EF, EF 40 odd, on an SMR, uh, these. Mm, routing pattern, um, I'm not so clear on what routing pattern is, so I'm just keeping that. Um, I'm not sure about these also. These are all Andrea's implementations. And okay, Selva, can you stop the recording?
Yes, sir.
Okay. நம்ம இங்க பிரேக் எடுத்துப்போமா?